Frostpunk, a carefree video game about happiness, joy, and relaxation, as voted by the patrons, because they know that the other series we're running right now are obviously very high stress, so they've decided to give me a fun, relaxing treat here. In Frostpunk, your people have no heating, no food, and no future, so it's set roughly in modern-day Britain. Somewhere, Maggie is rolling in her grave because you have to use fresh, clean, healthy coal to keep your people alive, which I'm probably not going to do a very good job of, I'll be completely blunt with you. So I've played about 10 days of this game, which is all of about 20 minutes. The concepts are very simple. Basically, keep the lights on, keep the heating on, don't let your people freeze to death. But I think the overall game is quite difficult to master, and that's my goal. Now, I'm going to make life incredibly hard for myself because, you know, that's what I like to do. And I'm going to say, let's be a dictator. Let's be a full-on, evil, true piece of shit dictator, because this is, you know, this is modern-day Britain after all. Anna Desmond 37, London refugee. I don't know why that's there. People who have to eat poor quality food for too long will become discontented. Which is why, using my link below, you can get yourself gamer cubes. Oh, Jesus. The branding needs a bit of work, I won't lie.
The still, cold world. No horizon in sight. The rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday we were turning the wheels of progress. Until the frost stopped it all. Suddenly, without a warning. When tides had changed, they changed for all of us, no matter wealth or class. We've lost our world to snow. And with it, our last traces of humanity. We bid farewell to plenty, and for those who remained came the time to adapt. We decided to leave our homes and head north. We roamed for weeks, maybe months, leaving behind all the things we once believed had made us. It was hope that pushed us forward. Slowly, step by step. We knew the cost of our journey, and we paid the price 100 times. Finally, the time has come to build the last city on Earth.
So as old grizzled John Hurt there was saying, British gas have put the prices up another 10% and the world has frozen over. And our people have decided to head up into the Arctic for some reason. Well, they said north, so, I mean, given that they're starting in London, that could just be like Barnsley, I don't know. And we've got to survive in the oppressive cold. With the power of tasty, tasty coal, we have to survive. This is just the kind of default scenario of the campaign, but there are like, you know, there's like endless mode and things like that, which I was kind of tempted to do, but I'm going to be honest here. Everybody's going to freeze to death episode 1, most likely. Here we are. We need to get the generator working. I thought this was a nice way to also kind of teach you guys the mechanics. Again, they're not massively complicated. So you have... Let's pause it for the time being. You have essentially the 6 resources at the top there. You have tasty coal. You have wood, steel, steam cores, raw food, and food rations. Raw food you have to cook into food rations, so those are essentially linked. Coal you get from mining. There are some stockpiles on the map around. You need that to survive, basically. Without coal, you are dead. That might as well just be a timer to freezing to death. Wood for building new structures, steel for building more complicated things, and then steam cores for building more of these things, as far as I recall. I didn't tell to remember. You've got the temperature at the top there, minus 20°, and then you can see the overlay there as well. Is it paused? Yeah, it seems to be paused. You got comfortable, livable, chilly, cold, very cold, and absolutely 100% dead. Right now, they're classing minus 20C as chilly, which, to be fair, does seem fairly on brand, all things considered. Oh, it's a bit nippy out, isn't it, Margaret? She says as her fucking nose falls off. So, how do we want to start then? It's got this kind of tutorialization, but I kind of know how things work at this stage. You've also got the Book of Laws, which to me is the most appealing thing. This allows you to pass laws. We are the benevolent dictator, let's be honest. We're the benevolent dictator. Maybe not so benevolent in this playthrough. I want to specifically take all the evil options, because I'll be honest, the choices in this game are, do you want to help poor starving children, or do you want to kick poor starving children? It presents it as this dichotomy, which is very much, do you want to be a nice guy or a complete arsehole for no reason? Just to emphasize here, you can either make the children work in the coal mines, or give them shelter and food. Or you could build a cemetery. Alternatively, throw the corpses out in the snow. You know how it is. It's this one here. Feed the people soup. Or put sawdust in the soup. For no reason. This guy's just doing it because he's bored. Really, the whole point is, how far do you want to stretch your morality to get survival as a priority? But for us on this channel, where morality is not a concern, this should be easy. Everybody's going to survive. Ideally, you've got to keep hope high and discontent low. Right now, the people are content. Which, I mean, given that it's minus 20C right now, that seems to give me a lot of hope, personally. Ideally, we want to drop hope, but keep discontent low. We want them cold and stupid and compliant. Meanwhile, we'll live at the top of this mighty tower and laugh at them and throw rocks or sawdust down at them, I guess. This is just the starting map, so you get this kind of this basin, this crater. But there are some really ridiculous maps where there's like a whole canyon system you have to bridge across. There's another one where there's like loads of dead trees everywhere, so building is really, really difficult. You have to kind of deforest first. But this is your kind of basic starting one just to teach you the mechanics. So you see that we've got resources out here on the map. We've got wood crates there. That shows you the temperature of that particular area. So if I send people to walk to work here, it's chilly, so there's a low risk of falling ill, but it's chilly everywhere right now. And you can see, requires one worker. It kind of tells you what it is there, the workers that you've got on that activity, and then you can just kind of assign it. It's really, really basic. Basically, all you're concerned about is this, which is how much of that resource is left, and this, which is who's working it. You have workers, engineers, and then eventually will get anyway, child workers. And if you put children to work, obviously people aren't very happy. Children can get injured, at which point you can quite literally beat them for getting injured at work, which again is real high tier. Over here we got like some steel, and then what we need is some surface coal right here. So we're gonna go ahead and grab that straight away. I'm going to put pretty much everybody. How many workers have we got available? We've got 50 out of 80. So 15 are... So we got 35 regular, 15 engineers, and then 15 are prohibited children from working. Not for long. Absolutely not. So we got 50 available workers. So we've sent 15 over to the coal there. To be honest, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get them all on coal. Because without coal, we're going to die. We're absolutely going to die. It's all the same temperature right now, but you might get weather effects that make the outer edges obviously a lot colder. Might make the whole map just kind of colder overall. As we turn this big old generator here on, that will heat up a radius around it. There's a big old research tree too, which is somewhere. I don't entirely remember how to get to it now, but anyway. With that, you can research kind of a bigger radius for overdrive, so it gets, much warmer and shit like that. At the cost of more coal. There are also kind of big old coal mines too, which is a bit more of a, or a bit less, I should say, of a finite research. What do you want? Tutorial? I'm basically an expert. When it comes to freezing my people to death as a dictator, my friend, I've got an entire channel of expertise. I mean, it's a very minor thing, but I think it's kind of a cool mechanic. As they walk through the snow, they leave paths. That's it. It's not massive, but it is kind of cool. Right, let's get this thing turned on then before everybody freezes to death and they blame me for it for some reason. Sure, I am in charge of everything, but that shouldn't matter. Right, turn the generator on. I think we just hit that button right there. And there you go. Big old, very, very healthy, very, very safe asbestos-fueled generator. The generator hums with reassuring warmth. We shouldn't take it for granted. If the generator goes down, the city dies. Be mindful of coal reserves. It's, from what I've played before, you might think, okay, let's stick everybody on coal all the time. Why would we not have anybody working coal? To be honest, it doesn't actually burn coal that fast, and it's better to kind of min-max it and have people fuck off and do other stuff than it is to just keep sitting on a boatload of coal, because, it's a bit useless when everybody's starving to death, eh? Generally, you don't have enough workers to do everything that you might want immediately. Secure raw food supply. Build a hunter's hut or a hothouse. So the hunter's hut is basically at nighttime. They'll go out into the wilderness and go and, I don't know, club a seal or stamp a penguin. I don't entirely know what they do here. But we'll go ahead and throw one of those down. Now, to start off with, ideally you want it adjacent to this structure in the center. We've got 80 people. We haven't got shelter for 80 people, so they'll be homeless, but they'll at least be warm and homeless, which is contrary to how it works in real life, bizarrely enough. We can build the hunter's hut, right? But we can't build the cookhouse. 20 wood. So I'm going to get some of our people over on that as well. What's our closest wood? Bear in mind, it will take them longer to get over to here than it will to get to, say, here. Let's go ahead and throw some people on that. Get some engineers working out which wood is the best wood for us right now. This is incredible. I'm already loving this. Oh, no. So eventually you get complaints from your people, or, you know, things of concern here.
Captain, people are understandably concerned about the lack of shelter. They're falling ill from sleeping outside in this terrible cold. We ought to do something about it.
We can either commit to providing some shelter, at which point if we complete that, it'll give them some hope. We can commit to providing shelter for everybody, which will give them a lot of hope, or we can ignore them. I'm sorry, my friend. It's a bad day to be you, because this is my Dictator playthrough. To be honest, maybe we should just go like some shelter, then we can pick and choose our friends. Hey, much like a real government official. Let's go for that then. Bang on. Right, give me some tents. Let's go ahead and stick some of those. What do we say? Like, so each tent houses something like 15 people, I think it was. 10 people. Right, so we're going to need still 4 tents. But bearing in mind, because we've only got generator level 1, if we use up too much of this, and that's why I didn't want to actually commit to building too many shelters. That was a mistake I made the first time I played. I committed to building shelters for everybody, and then, you know, the next layer out where I had to build all my important buildings was frozen. It was unworkable. People were, you know, kind of complaining about having to work in a house that was -20 for whatever reason. Got another one? Hello? Captain, when facing demands, remember this. People usually look for the quickest solution, not the best one. You don't have to agree with everything they ask for. If you fix the problem your way, it's fine. Thank you. Got to start to sound like the Night's Watching here. Giving them that voice rather than like, you know, like a Cockney voice, because it's -20 and Londoners very famously freeze anything below 10 degrees C. Right, okay. How are we looking? 70 homeless. So what you're telling me is I'm absolutely nailing it. They're getting sick as well? What's wrong with you people? Illness and healthcare. Here you go. Basically, build a hospital and tend to them, you idiot. Okay, build a cookhouse and start preparing meals. So we've only got, 0 wood right now. What are those engineers doing all day? What do you mean maintaining the thing that's keeping us alive? That's ridiculous. You don't actually have to do that. Don't worry about it. Okay, I guess we'll just hang around till tomorrow then. Can't work at nighttime either. Not yet. Let me just say that. They won't work at nighttime yet. There is a certain hours where they're comfortable to kind of hang around. And you can kind of see up here, there are certain events that will happen. So there you go, temperature will drop significantly by 2 levels. Then at 6 a.m., it will rise by a level again. I wonder what it means by levels. Do you think it's in 10-degree increments? I never really paid much attention to it before. Hello? The number of sick is rising. We don't have enough materials to build a medical post. Perhaps a short burst of effort could gather us the necessary materials. Ah, longer work days, you say. Consider signing the emergency shift law. So these, again, like I said, are our laws whereby you can sign laws only occasionally. You can't just go ahead and say, right, yeah, I want a fighting arena. I want child labor. I want to trip the corpses out in the snow. You have to be very kind of methodical about things. If you take on too many bad laws at the same time, obviously they're gonna be pretty pissed about that. Emergency shift, though. That will raise discontent because you're making people work a lot earlier, but they will force workers to work for essentially an entire day, which is quite nice. So we're going to absolutely sign that one. The work shift can be extended to 24 hours. New law is signed. Oh, no. That pissed him off. Citizen needs lack of shelter and one controversial law. Well, I'm alright out here sleeping in -20 degrees C, but the fact that he's making us work longer for our survival is just unforgivable. What's wrong with you? 24 hours in the job, insane, but that's a lot. Fuck off, Joel Stiles. I didn't get to see what Maurice Stanley said, or Morris Stanley, because he disappeared too fast. Should have been a bit louder then, shouldn't you, Morris? There we go. Okay, so when we've started to work on this, we'll build the, I guess we'll probably have to start getting him some food soon, eh? Probably not. They're probably not best pleased about that. And then, so it's 20 wood for a cookhouse. Oh, that's pretty fucking cheap, eh? Let's go ahead and stick that up there. How are we doing with the shelter, by the way? We still need like 3 more houses for that. Christ almighty. People are so needy. We could probably take some people off of coal. Bearing in mind we've got 6 days worth of fuel and we're almost hitting our stockpile limit. So I'll go ahead and drop that down. Ideally, we want to get a nice middle ground where we're bringing in enough coal to keep the generator lit, but not where we're just building up our stockpile ad infinitum, because that's obviously a waste of time. So I'm going to chuck some on wood instead, seeing as we've got a lot of shelters that need building early on here. I should do that the other way around. We should finish off... Oh, we've already done it. I was going to say it's better to finish off one building first. So say we had like 12 workers here and 12 workers here. It'd be better to have 15 and 9 from what I understand how the mechanics work. It's got this kind of efficiency bar at the top. So let's go ahead and... Obviously, this one's closer too, so there's even more of a benefit to that one. I'll chuck a few people here. Why not? So then we've got... Is that 5 children that can't work? Was that 5? Oh, it's 5 engineers that we've got available. There you go. So we've still got 2 engineers left over. I don't think I can actually put them anywhere. We could stick a few extra on the coal mine, I guess. Or we could start stockpiling a different resource. We could start going for like some steel kind of preemptively. Yeah, I think that's probably a better idea. Have we got any closer steel than that? Yikes. Well, have fun freezing to death. So with basic resources secured for now, we could try and rescue the people we left behind. But, I mean, they're probably fucking dead, right? Build a beacon, scout Frostland, and save as many survivors from our expedition as possible. You need a workshop to design plans for more advanced buildings. So there is a big old research tree, which we will move on to very, very soon. I think you access the research tree from the workshop, now that I'm remembering. Gathering post there. Gather resources from coal piles, wood crates, and steel wreckage. So if you've ever played some Age of Empires, you can stick those a bit closer, and that way they can drop it there rather than having to walk back and forth. Obviously makes it way more efficient. More importantly, you can put heaters in buildings, so if they start freezing to death out in the coal mines, they can go inside and kind of warm up. Okay, right, first things first then. Let's get this shelter dealt with, because the last thing I'm alright being a dictator. What we don't want to do is say, sure, we'll build a few houses and then not actually build that at all. Because not only will they have got discontent in the first place, they'll also be pissed off about the fact that I basically didn't actually finish the houses. So let's get those done as soon as possible. Hey, there we are. Everyone feels relieved with the roof. Even a flapping one over their head. Hope rises. Excellent work. God damn, they are way too hopeful. What have I done? And then what have we got here? Citizens' lack of shelter. I mean, once we've got down the food that we need. So we've got the mess hall here. We should really stick some people in there to actually, obviously, the huts and the hunter's hut, that is. Any work building requires people actually in it to work, surprisingly enough. So I'm going to take some people off of coal because we've still got more coal coming in when we really probably don't need it. I'm going to take that down to... I think we'll try 10 there. Let's take these guys off of this wood stockpile because we've got enough to kind of build some buildings there. And I'm all right waiting a little longer if it means that our people can actually be fed, you know? Let's go ahead and stick those guys in there. And then certain buildings will require specialized work types like engineers. So you can't just put regular workers or child workers doing your research, for example. So we'll do that for now. We might want less hunters, more chefs. Well, cooks, I guess. Yeah, let's try that. I'm okay with that. Ultimately, it's all just a balancing act. It's a balancing act, but you have to pay attention to... Oh, is that days rather than hours? Certainly looks that way, doesn't it? Ideally, you have to kind of get everything balanced, but when you've got things balanced, it's honestly a pretty relaxing time. You just kind of watch your little lemmings go out and try not to freeze to death. Oh, what do you want? Hello? We're getting short on resources. Our people's needs are great and growing by the hour. To address this, we can enact a law that will allow us to extend working hours. Fine. Let's see what we've got in the Book of Laws. Emergency shift. You can extend the workday in any facility to 14 hours. So, emergency shift is obviously just like, hey, 24 hours, get to work. Extended shift makes them work longer, but it's obviously a bit more sustainable then. I think this is like 6 o'clock till, well, I would assume like 8 p.m., right? If it's 14 hours. That's just how maths be. Daniel Moam? 10 hours isn't enough, I suppose, in our circumstances. My father used to tell us we're looking to work 10 hours a day, says John Holland. That's the right attitude, John Holland. Stiff upper lip. That's probably just from the rigor mortis, though, to be honest. A lot of meals. Oh, well, we haven't. We've got a day's worth of food. Raw food is about 2 hours worth. I mean, that's fine, but that's a little misleading. You're like, oh, shit, I've only got 2 hours of raw food, but they are obviously cooking that into rations there, too. Switching between buildings. I'm okay. I can see with my eyes. What have we got, then? 2 are hungry. 0 are starving. Okay, here's a plan. What do you eat some of the food rations we've got? We've got 2 days worth there. Stuff your face. What have we got? 9 sick, gravely injured. So the next thing I guess we'll build, along with maybe... Oh, shit. Should I build shelters for people? We do need a workshop. Because without the workshop, we're not going to be able to progress, I mean, at all, really. So let's go ahead and stick one of those down. That way we can expand the radius of our coal generator too. Sure, we'll burn through coal a little bit quicker, but we're hitting our stockpile limit even now. Shit, I really need to take some more people off of that. Let's try 7. Realistically, we actually don't need any right now because we've got that kind of maxed out there. In that case, let's put some more hunters in and let's put some more. Okay, we've already maxed that one out too. We are gonna need some people to obviously work in the workshop. I want to throw down the medical post. Now, I believe this requires engineers as... Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I think you need specialists for that one, but I'm not entirely sure. There we go. Hello. Oh. Captain, some of our people are protesting against the lack of housing. Last night was not the first time they had to spend outside. They want you to see their needs immediately. Honestly, prepare the firing squads. Provide them a shelter right away. I'll provide them with the proper housing. You'll have 1 day to provide better than a tent for 20 people. You'll have 1 day to provide shelter for... That's only 2 houses, but the problem is we don't have room for that. Right? We've only got... I think the houses take up a much larger area than... Yeah, right. We've only got enough for one lot of people. So we need to finish the research to start off with. So we've got Steam Hub, which essentially allows you to build smaller... Those kind of smaller generator style things. I think that uses our steam cores, or we could just go heaters for buildings. What we ideally need is the generator range upgrade. So I think we're going to go drawing boards. 50 wood for that. Okay, let's go crack out 50 wood. We've got a lot of spare people kicking around now, so let's blitz that one out. Get that done as soon as possible. Go for the tier 2 range upgrade, then we can actually get our people houses. I can't do shit about that. They're just going to have to wait. They're like actually straight up protesting. Hang on. What is wrong with you people? Oh, I'm not going to work in the cookhouse until I get some... I'm going to starve to death until I get myself a tent. What is wrong with you? You've got shelter. Well, I mean, okay, maybe not shelter, but you are sheltered in the sense that there's heat and buildings around you, so I assume not so much bitter wind. Oh, we're not going to eat until we get some tents, you fucking idiots. My God. This is why democracy failed. This is why we're all living in the bloody Arctic around a big coal plant. Fine, I'll build you some bloody houses. What you can do is you can also build streets as well. So in this building menu here, we've got the option to build street. You can take apart street, take apart buildings as well. So we could have a house further back and then build a street out to that and allow them to live there. Problem with that is it's still going to be super, super cold. I suppose we could research heaters and just put a heater in that house temporarily until we can... Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. So we've got all this kind of heating stuff here. We've got exploration and industry. Allows us to build a beacon. Scouts, I assume, allow us to get more colonists. I didn't actually research this tree last time I played. We have resources for a big old coal thumper. That's quite fun. There's a lot to this game. It's quite dense, to be honest. Again, it's a simple concept, but a lot of complexity to it if that type of thing floats your boat. Hunting tactics. That sounds quite nice. Hot house. Well, thank you. I'm going to build a street, and I'll get them to build some tents here. I don't know if it'll count, because, again, it's going to be quite literally freezing, but it's better than nothing, eh? Are they alright with that? Oh, yeah, they actually are happy with that. Oh, well, shit, there we go. 20 homeless. What the hell did I just build? Wait. Oh, right. We only built it for 40 people, didn't we? So we still need 1 more. Oh, jeez. Well, we still need 2 more. Okay, my bad. Right, let's throw down a couple more tents then. Fine, okay. The people win. Wouldn't want you to starve to death or anything like that. It's better not be another complaint. Treat the gravely ill. One of our people is gravely ill. If you sign the radical treatment law, the gravely ill will be treated in medical posts, but undergo risky amputations as a result. Alternatively, you might sign the sustain life law to keep them alive until we build an infirmary. Let's open the book of laws. So, radical treatment is basically like, you know, oh shit, your limb's got frostbite and it's going gangrenous, let's lop it off. They'll be, as it says there, 30% of the gravely ill will be treated in medical posts, will be left as amputees and discontent will raise slightly. Or we go for sustain life, keep them as comfortable and as happy as possible. But, as it says there, the gravely ill will not be treated and remain a burden. However, eventually we can potentially find some way to find a way to treat them with some additional research or buildings or whatever else. And again, does give you this kind of weird dichotomy of, do you want to be a completely nutter crazy doctor, or do you want to care for this nice lady? Well, I mean, obviously we're going for the crazy nutter. Even with all our advances in medicine, we have to resort to this. What is wrong with you people? John Bertie, at least we'll be saving lives. Thank you. That's why that man has his seeing goggles, because he has actual fucking hindsight and vision. Look at this world. We're living in a crater filled with snow, and you're complaining that, oh no, Aunt Gertrude's gonna have to have her foot taken away. You should be lucky Aunt Gertrude's alive. Oh, God. I just hit -40. So this is when things get a little chilly cold. What research should we go for next, then? Did I not even start heaters? Oh, you absolute fool. You absolute fool. I can't believe you've done this. Okay. Here, get some engineers working on the wood. How are we doing for coal? 115. We're fine. So if we go to the temperature overlay map now, you can see it's pretty fucking cold indeed. So a couple of buildings do have better temperature. You can stick heaters in, like I said, to heat those up. So tents are cold. Did that say better than tents? Hang on, structure better than tents. I misread that. Well, that's the best I can do, I'm afraid. Deal with it. Coal pile depleted. That's alright. Oh, I still had them collecting coal there. Completely forgot about that. Oh, well, to be honest, that's alright. Because we have kind of found a nice balance there then. So let's go and stick... We need kind of a weird number, like 18 people on coal to kind of maintain.
Yeah, a woman came forward after we built the workshop. She says that her husband and daughter didn't reach the city with the main group.
She urges you to hurry. Oh, right, okay, sorry. I'll drop everything and I'll send our people out to go and find them, eh? Yeah, that's fine. No, don't mind the coal. Don't cook the meals. No, don't worry about it. This lady wants to find her husband and daughter. Unbelievable. Mild frostbite. Citizen became gravely ill. Well, here's an idea. Don't stand in the snow. Well, no, people have become gravely ill. Put on some gloves, you moron. You got a hat with goggles and glasses, but you haven't got gloves? I see. How terrible. I need to make this clear right away, okay? I'm not good at this game. I don't have enough experience in it yet to know what kind of balances we should be going for, what things are urgent to prioritize. Should I be prioritizing food over heat or vice versa? I mean, given that this game about the cold, I feel like that one's fairly self-explanatory. This is going to be very much working out how things go and trying to maximize suffering without maximizing death. Right, I'm researching heaters. You're welcome. You're welcome. Don't all clap at once. Obviously, don't clap because your fingers will probably shatter and fall off. We've got another coal pile depleted. See, now this is where things get a little concerning. We need to get some good coal research. Actually, kind of relatively soon. We've got any other coal piles? We've got a little bit there with 500 coal. We've got this one here with 500 coal and obviously this one. But after that, well, obviously that's only got 167. After that, we're, you know, in a bit of a fucky-wucky situation. For God's sake. Captain, some of our people are concerned about the rising number of untreated sick. Okay, do we want to admit 1/3 of the sick to treatment, or do we want to open a medical post? Now, this isn't going to be, you know, kind of factored into our new dictatorship. Basically, clicking this button is just going to piss them off. It's better to take it and ignore it and just have them pissed off than straight up, there's no reason to do it. We might as well take this, and then if we do happen to build it, everything's good. If not, we get the same as this option anyway, right? So, well, to be fair, it might give a bit more discontent. But either way, it does give us a bit of a safety net there. We do need that range extender, ideally, before we can do much with that. I didn't really explain it, but with buildings, let's find a building that it works in. I think this one. Yeah, so that's how you extend the shift there. So they normally work 8 till 6, whereas you can go 6 till 8. I apologize if you don't use 24-hour time. That's probably very confusing. What I think is not helping, the fact that this tower is apparently pumping out the world's saddest music. We've got some 28 Weeks Later soundtrack being sent out to all the people. You put on some fucking Tiki music, put on some samba pumping out of this thing. You watch the mood go up. Hope maximized. Shit, I almost want to swap that out for next episode. Can introduce a new law. Music to my ears. Right, let's take a look then. Do you want to build a fighting arena? That seems appropriate. Nothing relieves tension better than watching a few rounds of an all-out slugfest. I like that this has no discernible negatives. New building, fighting arena. Evening bouts will reduce discontent. Negative, you will have to build a fighting arena. My friend, that is not a negative at all. We can go for... So our other options here, cemetery corpse disposal, extra rations for the ill, or overcrowding. So ram as many people as possible into the hospital. We've got care house there and eventually prosthetics too. Cemetery or corpse disposal, so we can just throw the corpses out in the snow. The bonus to this, though, as it does say bodies are preserved for potential future use. And then the research, I can't help but notice, happens to lead to organ transplants. So that's worth bearing in mind. Do we want to put the children to work, or do we want them in a shelter? I mean, it's an easy question. Go on, let's see what they got to say. Edith Stokey. We toil all day and the kids have to work too. Kids should be learning and not working. Oh, I'll get right on building a fucking school. Oh, someone died. Well, that was very selfish of him. One of our people has died. Sickness and accidents and the deadly cold will keep claiming lives in this harsh, harsh world. We'd find a way to dispose of the body. Okay, let's open the Book of Lords. We've got to wait 16 hours before I can pass corpse disposal. Cemetery, not happening. Not happening at all. On the plus side, we've only got 9 homeless now. I suppose you can view workers for different buildings, right? So I wonder if you had the patience for it. You could track down the people who are homeless and make them work like all the way out over here and just have them freeze to death. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And that stone is tasty, tasty coal. Fine, I'll build you another... I guess we'll build another structure then. Put it there and just wrap the street around. I guess that's probably a better idea. Might as well build out, eh? Right, there you go. Good as new. What do I need for a medical post? We already have a medical post. We need engineers for it. I even said that earlier and basically didn't listen to my own advice. We've got engineers working on the wood and coal. So I'm going to get rid of that. Let's stick you guys in there. Healthcare, promise fulfilled. You help the sick and their families are grateful. Hope rises. Damn. Oh, that was an unintended consequence. There you go. Right, okay. We'll see how well they do. We might have to build more medical posts in the future. It's a guy. Ruben Wade, get a move on, chaps. There's plenty of work to do. At least we're alive. Not everyone's so lucky. These people, I want them on my board of directors. I want them on my board of directors. These people are fantastic. Still got a shitload of coal, actually. We're doing pretty well on that front. How are we done on research? God, that's taking a long time. Research stopped. I guess just because they're not working. Here's an idea. Get to work. How about that? Now we can, I believe you can put heaters in houses, but maybe I'm misremembering. Oh, it's just workplaces, is it? Yeah, there it is. Heater is off, and then you can also go for emergency shift as well. It's 1 coal per hour. We have a ridiculous amount of coal, so I'm not too concerned about that. This would be beneficial to stick down, like, I guess in the medical post, right? I'll put a heater on in the medical post. You're welcome. That actually changed the... I don't know. I thought for a second that changed the background art then. Is it worth putting it anywhere else? The heater is already bloody boiling, Jackie. Look at that. Wowee. What about the cookhouse? Chilly? Building insulation and heat zone. Low risk of falling ill. We could put children to work. Oh, look at this. Let's go. Children in the cookhouse. I mean, there's nothing in a kitchen that could potentially ever harm a child, so I'm all right with that. We can't, unfortunately, send them out to go and hunt, which is just absurd. What else can we get the children to do? Get the children to fetch me some steel. Children do love steel. Shit, in hindsight, I better wrap this up, eh? I'm actually having a lot of fun playing this game because it allows me to live out my, you know, Victorian Baron power fantasies from the top of my giant golden glowing tower, which is a fantastic metaphor. On the subject of that, thank you for watching. And more importantly, thank you to the patrons for toiling away in the coal mine. Well, I wonder if I've got that slightly backwards. Thank you for voting for this series, which I'm sure will cause me undue stress and years off my life, much like every other series we're currently playing right now. Should call this that. We had the month of Weeb, didn't we? The poorly received month of Weeb. I guess this one could be the month of stress. I need to throw in a game here to you know, to act as a bit of stress relief. The other highest voted on that poll was The Sims, even though it was kind of manipulated up there. Could do that, and then we could just go around murdering everyone. Yeah, leave that idea with me. Thank you in the meantime to our patrons, including Darth Alpha, Red Noah, Total Postal, Texas Yardbird, Icewolf, Moira, But I'm Homeless, Ex-Dr. Don, MD, El Chalupa Cabra, Felpy, Nero, Nightshade, or Kansas, Helviticus, Goatfather, Mr. Mosin, and Blackheart as well. For their support, the executive producer tiers over on Patreon. Thank you guys for voting, if you did vote. Don't worry if your suggestion didn't get voted in. You know, I always use those polls as a kind of idea for what you guys want to see anyway. And even though this one wasn't necessarily the top result, given that The Sims is 600 quid to buy, you know, I still will try and do that at some stage anyway, so I'll use that just as kind of a point of reference more than anything else. Thank you as well to Struck Iron, AstroSound12345, Bordoon, Omegador, Nyancat17, Larry the Emu, Dragon Ryan 13, Proximity Jones, Scott, Craigon, Warsheep, and Stalker Pepe.